5-Minute Salute. I'm your host, Chris Budihas. Today's segment is sponsored by the Military Officers Association of America, better known as MOA, because we like our acronyms in the military. Joining me virtually from Sarasota is Terry Murray with Performance Transformation, and then Don Gleason with Achieve. We're going to start all over. That's the beauty of digital media. We can start all over. I don't have my glasses on. Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, damn. I just had an eye exam too. I can read it actually. I'm like, I grew up on a dirt road and went to private school. You ready, Travis? All right. All right. Welcome to the 5-Minute Salute. I'm your host, Chris Budihas. Today's segment is sponsored by the Military Officers Association of America. Joining me from Sarasota is Terry Murray with Performance Transformation and Don Gleason with Achieve New Heights. Gentlemen, good to see you. Terry Murray, tell me a little about yourself. Where are you originally from and what service were you in?
Morning, Chris. I grew up in New Hampshire, Southern New Hampshire. I'm fifth generation Navy, and which is hard to believe. And I was in Naval Intelligence. Oh,
excellent. Well, thank you for your service, sir. Don, where are you originally from and what you do in the military?
Yeah, born in lower western Michigan, raised in lower central Wisconsin. Yeah, the mitten, it's perfect, right? So I joined the military out of Madison, Wisconsin after graduating from the University of Wisconsin. Spent 27 years as a civil engineer.
That's excellent.
Chris and I were just talking. I'm a fellow Army War College graduate, so one of the best years of my career. Got out and joined Booz Allen Hamilton in 2009. As a management consultant, and then started my own business, Achieve New Heights, about 7 years ago. Achieve New Heights.
Well, congratulations.
And married 3 kids and 4 grandkids.
That's awesome. Well, man, yeah, that's your legacy, right? And that's why I tell people, they're like, what's your most prized possession? I said the fact that I've been married to the same woman for 33 years, and I have 3 kids in their 20s, and they pay their own bills. That is remarkable.
That's right. Off the payroll.
Amen. So Terry, tell us about Performance Transformation.
We work with medical device and life science startups primarily, and have been doing so for about 16 years. And interestingly enough, I didn't probably realize this until, 10 or so years after getting out of the military, but how the military really trained me to do what I'm doing today, and that's strategic planning.
Yep.
And, they taught us to take an enormous amount of information, distill that down to what was cogent to the mission, determine that mission, and then communicate that at an executive level. Lo and behold, that's strategic planning in corporate America.
That's huge, man. I appreciate that. And then Don, talk to us about Achieve New Heights.
Yeah, what I found when I was in the military is I really enjoyed the leadership aspect, helping people move to where they want to be. And when I transitioned out of the service, mine went really good because, as we're talking here, strategic planning. I really spent time planning, but I found out most people don't plan. Don't plan for their retirement, don't plan for their next career. And really, Achieve New Heights is really all about helping people focus in on what do I want to do next. And I find that you got to kind of go back to your personality, right?
Yeah.
It's not just skills and getting the best pay, but what am I really interested in? What are the best experiences? What really turns me on in terms of motivates me, energizes me? And you will do so much better in that job than any other job. And I help them get that. I've helped over 217 people the last 7 years.
Wow, that's excellent.
Nice.
Both your companies, what a legacy. I mean, you've been around. If you can survive the first 3 years, you're doing pretty good, especially under this economy. So I appreciate that. And then both of you kind of hit on it. I seen it also, right? In the business community with various folks I work with, the challenges of understanding what real strategy is and then what's tactics, right? Mm-hmm. We use that slang of strategy all the time, and that's it's like, it's a misinterpretation. You're not talking about time and space. You're not talking about all the appropriate effects and variables. But for Terry, what's one of the biggest pain points either with your company or with the clients that you deal with that you service?
People that aren't in the right mindset, people that don't have the proper leadership around them and the proper culture that is going to affect their ability to win. Nobody gets up in the morning wanting to lose, but things get so busy and the tail tends to wag the dog oftentimes, and especially as businesses get larger, and it just becomes a fire drill. And the personnel aspect of the business can get lost in the shuffle. So we really try to focus on three things for successful businesses. What I've observed is the most successful businesses optimize and align leadership, strategy, and culture. Take away any single element, and high performance typically diminishes.
That's great. It's almost like the three-legged stool, right? You take away one,
it really is
all over. Yeah,
it really is.
Excellent, man. Hey, so Don, same question. Like, what's your biggest pain point that you address with your clients, or you are experienced as a business owner?
I think the one that most clients really resonate with is they can't get an interview. They can't. They submit an application, submit their resume, and they don't get an interview. And it's really because they don't tell their story. It's their resume is full of job responsibilities, right? I was responsible for this. I brought the general coffee. I opened up the command post. I led a study of this. But they don't really tell the story of the problem they were facing and why it was a problem, and then what they did to fix it, and then the new result. We throw some number out there, 25% improvement. Well, improvement in what? And how does it result back to the problem you stated? Most of them never state the problem. So it's like a book or a movie, right? Nobody's going to listen to it or read it if it doesn't grab them. And I really help them figure out the story that they have. And that's a challenge. Most people don't want to dig in that deep.
No, it's huge, right? And then if you don't understand your story and you're in an interview, you're not going to be able to convey it. And then, it's funny, I'll kind of pivot here. I got asked this question like twice in the last month, like, do you have any mentors? And I said, yeah, when I left I still have former military members. I call them friends now that were more senior that gave me great sane advice, either, while in uniform or out. But I have 3 civilian mentors in business that are non-military, have no military background. They go, was that on purpose? I said, absolutely. Because I wanted to force myself to Sprechen Sie business and then force me to explain to them what I was trying to communicate and vice versa. So I appreciate that. And so Terry, last question. So if you had one piece of advice to give separating service members that are going to leave the military in the next year, what's that one piece of advice you would give them?
Well, I think Don really touched on it. Tell your story. And one of the things that people coming out of the military, one of the greatest attributes that is truly ingrained in us and expected of us is adaptability. We're very adaptable in high stress situations. Civilian businesses are looking for leaders that can be highly adaptable in stressful situations. Emphasize that. It's a key strength.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. It's true, right? We throw people in places like Iraq, Afghanistan, and say, figure it out. And I mean, that goes, we see that, I spent a lot of time, well, I'll say a lot of time. I spent some time at sea, 383 days at sea as a Marine, and watching a ship happen, right? The last thing you want is a fire in an engine room or in the galley. So, you get thrown in these situations, you got to figure them out.
We had one, USS Ranger. Back in 83. Yeah, I was there. We were in, right up the coast of Iran.
Wow.
Gonzo Station. Yeah, number 4 main machinery room went down and burned for 12 hours.
So Don, for you, one piece of advice besides what you've already stated for service members looking to separate in the next year.
Well, I'm probably going to dig into that first one I talked about, which is, again, the clarity. Don't be afraid to understand who you are. Right? I think that's where the transformation comes from, because we quickly, it's like you're in an abusive relationship. And what do? You get divorced and you find a very similar relationship because that's what you're comfortable with. You find the same thing when you get out and you get into a job that really doesn't trip your trigger. So understand who you really are, what's important to you, and then go after it. For me, it was I needed to have an environment where I could develop my people. Yeah. And Booz Allen had a 360 assessment, and I loved it. And I for most of my 9 years, that's what we focused in on. Every quarter, we would be developing a quarter of our staff, and it worked out so fantastic. So get in and really understand yourself, whether it's assessments or a coach or a mentor. Find out who you are, what you really want, and then go after it.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for your service to the nation. Without that, we couldn't do this today. Love connecting with you guys on LinkedIn. Love what you've stated here today. This is gold. We need to bottle it up and sell it.
That's right. That's right.
We'll be in contact. Hey, folks, you like what you heard, check out our show notes. We'd love to see you, share our content. And then, like I said, reach out to Don and Terry, and if you need any services with them. So thank you very much. We'll see you at our next segment. Live with gratitude. Thanks, fellas.